Hello everyone, and welcome to a video that I feel like needs to be made. This is a part of a collaborative effort. Myself, as well as many other Star Wars YouTube channels, you may have heard of many of them, their links will be down in the description below. We have decided to band together and make a collaborative video talking about the vintage collection. The fact that we love it, the fact that we want more of it, and the fact that we really want to support this line, show Hasbro that we love it still, and, you know, hopefully they'll listen to us and maybe... Anyways.
Oh Lord, that's nice. But, do you know what would make it better? More of them.
Hello for you fiends and collectors, this is me, Daniel East 1000, and I used to be a 334-inch figure collector. So how is it I've gone from this to this? It's a long story. I want to try and keep this video positive, which is really difficult for me, especially when talking about this line of figures. How they went from peak modern day Star Wars figure collecting to what it's become now. It's almost kind of tragic.
Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Collecting Unleashed with my part for the collaboration video. And this is by no means a video to bash Hasbro, but this is a video that desperately needs to be made. And the reason is, the vintage collection has been such an important part of modern Star Wars collecting. Back in the day, we saw a huge evolution starting all the way from Power of the Force 2 to Legacy Collection, Saga Collection, and then the Vintage Collection, which was the ultimate line to collect your Star Wars action figures. And not only the main characters, also some of the more less known characters, background characters, army builders, etc. And then back in 2012, 2013, all of a sudden the Vintage Collection got cancelled, and in its place came the 375-inch Black Series, which quickly became exclusives.
Hello guys, Star Wars fan Tommy here with my video for the collaboration video that we are doing together with a few people from the Star Wars YouTube community. We're creating a video to basically, send out a positive message to Hasbro to let them know that there are still a lot of people out there that are collecting the 3 3/4 inch figures, mainly that we want more figures in the vintage collection.
Hey Star Wars fans, the Forces with Jesse here, just putting my little bit into the collaboration video that we're doing. There's a bunch of us Star Wars collectors in the YouTube community just putting a bit of a video for Hasbro together to just sort of state how we feel about 3 3/4 inch scale action figures, and how we just want to see this line continue over the next couple of years, or into the foreseeable future in general. It feels like it's taken a little bit of a back burner the last couple of years, with the sort of introduction of the Black Series back in 2013. And, you can just see here how much, I among many have invested into 3 3/4 inch collecting. This is just, it's the history of Star Wars collectibles, it's everything.
I grew up with the 3.75 inch figures, and as I grew up, they grew up too. But bigger is not always better. Some people want more. More of the figures they love, but in itty bitty scale, about 3.75 inches. And even if they're only in it for 12 seconds, they need it. So Hasbro, we must use your amazing skill to give them those tiny figures that were only on it for 12 seconds. You must make us spend more money.
Don't get me wrong, I love my Black Series stuff, but I've spent nearly 25 to 30 years collecting this stuff. It all started here for me. Power of the Force 2. A couple of guys have fallen down there. But yeah, these are the toys that got me into Star Wars. These are the things that have kept me going for so many years. I know for a lot of people, you get stuff like the vintage. We're talking Kenner, This is my little Kenner collection. I don't have the same nostalgic feel for these as a lot of older collectors do. I am in my early 30s, so the power of the Force is where it's at for me. I do love this stuff though, don't get me wrong. And what Hasbro's been doing has been absolutely fantastic with putting out, you know, great quality vehicles, great play sets. You know, Rogue One tank, absolutely stunning. It's the Mando stuff that's just come out this sort of the last 12 to 18 months. Absolutely fantastic. Looking back to 2002, the Geonosis Arena. Look at all these figures. Look at that. Just it's part of the population of the characters. It's getting to know these aliens, and you know, we have such fond knowledge of the saga because of all the characters we have in action figure form. We buy an action figure, we learn about the characters. And that's always been a super important thing for Star Wars collectors, Star Wars fans, are these figures.
But yeah, the vintage collection is really special and really important to me. Unlike a lot of other Star Wars figure collectors, I did not, you know, buy into 6-inch. Well, I did at the start, but I unbought out of the 6-inch Black Series, and I'm pretty much exclusively vintage collection besides Clone Troopers and 6-inch. I just don't feel the magic with the 6-inch Black Series. It just doesn't connect with me. It's not what the Star Wars figure collecting has been about in my life. It's always been about this scale, this, you know, this world building that the 3 3/4 inch in the vintage collection offers.
Now, you guys know, I mean, the vintage collection, not a lot of stuff has been released in the vintage collection from The Mandalorian, for example. A lot of the Mandalorian Mondays were 6-inch Black Series related figures, and as you guys can see, I am sitting right in front of my display cabinet in which I hold all my 3 3/4 inch figures. You can see Expanded Universe there. There is Clone Wars and whatnot, but I'm sitting in my chair here in my man cave collector room. I just want to make this quick video, of course, to, you know, support our Star Wars YouTube community, and, you know, to give a positive message to Hasbro that they please create and make more vintage collection figures, that the 3 3/4 inch collectors have not died yet. You know, there are still a lot of people that collect the 3 3/4 inch figures. A lot of people like to make displays with them. We all have, you know, pretty large collections of those action figures. That is also where the entire Star Wars line started. You know, let's pan out here. We have some vintage Kenner figures here in this display cabinet, and those are all like 3 3/4 inch figures. Of course, that is how it all started. You know, we want, as a, you know, community of collectors, we want to get more 3 3/4 inch figures. We want to get more vintage collection figures. And, you know, the Black Series are really cool, but I mean, 3 3/4 inch is still like the bread and butter of Star Wars for me.
When 6-inch Black Series came onto the scene, I said to myself, I will always be a 3 3/4 inch figure collector at heart. That would be my main collecting focus. Skip forward to now, and that has flipped completely on its head. Confession time, I think it's been about a good year or so since I bought a 3 3/4 inch figure, which really does say something. So why is that? First and foremost, it's price increase. Now, price increases always happen. Price is always gonna go up. Price is always gonna inflate. I've been starting to notice a couple of websites charging extortionate amounts for 3 3/4 inch figures, to the point where I look on some websites that are charging £15 for a Star Wars 3 3/4 inch figure, and I just think if I spend an extra £5, I can get something bigger and slightly more detailed. Furthermore, vintage collection case sizes are pathetic. You're getting like 4 figures in a case. The releases are so few and far between that I just don't care, quite frankly. There's no hook. I mean, it's great they're releasing playsets, that's something we've been wanting for years, but why release 2 playsets near enough the same time, but have no figures out there to actually inhabit it? Vehicles as well, Hasbro seems so focused on releasing big, massive vehicles. I mean, they're big ticket items. I'd love to have them, don't get me wrong, they look fantastic, but not everyone has the space for it. Not everyone has the extra spending cash for that sort of thing. What kid is going to have the pocket money for something that big? 334-inch figure collecting for me was you could get your figures and then you could get some reasonably priced vehicles. It's meant to be the happy middle ground. Star Wars The Black Series to me always felt like it was going to be the more richer in taste line. 334-inch and the vintage collection for me appealed to both ages of collectors. You had the nostalgia for the collectors, having characters that you've never seen before or already seen before, modern figures on vintage card, and then for the kids, the appeal is naturally having these characters that they've seen from the film, that they've just watched, and yet for them they're releasing like 1 or 2. Saying to them, oh, you can have Rey, but you have to wait for us to release them in like 2 or 3 months' time. It's a missed opportunity, and it's a lack of diligence.
I've been there since the beginning of Vintage Collection, when the original Empire Strikes Back wave came out, and I almost have every single TVC figure. I only have a couple exceptions. I don't have the Jocasta Nu, and I don't have the Dr. Aphra, and I don't have a few other exclusives. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I pretty much have them all. I really do. I really love this line. I've kept all of my card backs from the figures that I got in the package. There were a few that I had to get loose, unfortunately. But I love this line. This line and 3 3/4 inch Star Wars collecting means a lot to me. Even though some other lines have kind of taken my attention away, it's not because I still don't love this stuff. It's because I feel like Hasbro's sort of straying away from their golden child, the thing that everyone loves, and the thing that, you know, we hold very near and dear. I don't know if there's specific company reasons why the vintage collection isn't as prominent as it should be. I made a video years and years ago talking about the return of the vintage collection and why it might not be the greatest. And unfortunately, a lot of my fears did come true. The distribution is still not that good. I doubt I will ever see Mandalorian in the stores. There's still not enough. The quantity that they produce isn't nearly as great as it used to be. I remember Waves used to have like almost 10 figures in them. Now there may be like 2 or 4. And the Waves are more spread out. We don't get as much as we used to. And I feel like it's because Hasbro's trying to do too many things at once. I've talked about it before, but I feel like Hasbro, if they really focus more of their attention on the vintage collection and what we love and what we really care about, especially us, OG Star Wars collectors. The Black Series has its place. It should not go away. But unfortunately, the Black Series is taking away from the vintage collection. And that's unfortunate. I'm not jealous of things that get released in Black Series that we don't get in TVC, because sometimes we get things in TVC that they don't get in Black Series. But I feel like it should be pretty much a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 Black Series for one TVC for 1 Black Series. That's how I would love it to be. I think that would work. I think they would sell, because Black Series has just as many horrible peg warmers as TVC does. So, just saying.
Back when in 2018 the Vintage Collection got re-announced, I think all of the fans and collectors were very, very hyped and were very curious to see what Hasbro would do. And I think in some places Hasbro has done a good job. We've gotten new figures, which are with the new face rail technology, which is a very big improvement. We've got a few re-releases, which were necessary, and we also got a few new characters, which are necessary as well. But I think the standards of the Vintage Collection are not anymore what they used to be. A lot of figures or characters get spread between Black Series and Vintage Collection, meaning that, for example, we got a few figures in Black Series that we don't get in Vintage Collection, and the other way around, whereas I feel the 375-inch line is and will always be the core of Star Wars collecting. And I understand why they want to do re-releases and introduce characters in Black Series as well. But back in 2012 or 2011, you were running the Clone Wars line, the Legacy Collection line, and the Vintage Collection line all at once. And now for some reason, you can't even keep up with having 2 lines, which is the Black Series and the Vintage Collection. And there's just something that needs to be done about that. I really like what you've done with maybe like the Tantive 4 playsets, the Jabba playsets. We have a new or better version of the X-Wing. We got the Rise of Skywalker X-Wing. But let's have a look at the Rise of Skywalker, for example. The latest, the finale for the Skywalker saga. And we've only had 5 figures 5 375-inch figures in the vintage collection, being the Jet Trooper, the Sith Trooper, Poe Dameron, Zori Bliss, Rey, and sorry I forgot one, which is the Knight of Ren. 6 figures for the Rise of Skywalker vintage collection line. The Bad Batch has been released. There is no realistic 375-inch Black Series or 7 vintage collection to be seen. But of course there is Black Series, but of course no vintage collection for the Bad Batch. Just things like that which really annoy collectors.
That's still the thing that I love to collect the most from Star Wars, and you know, every time they release new figures, I'm very excited to see those new figures. And again, with the few that they have been releasing for The Mandalorian and the few that have been announced for The Mandalorian, I've been really happy with. Gideon, for example, looks phenomenal, but I want to get more stuff. I don't want to get more re-releases. I want to get newer characters. I want to get background characters. That is something that you know, a lot of people really liked in the earlier years of Hasbro, and me too. Me as well, of course, because you know, and from the original trilogy we have a ton of background characters, almost all the aliens from the Cantina, for example. But when we talk about like The Force Awakens, for example, we don't have any background characters whatsoever. We have, for example, this is my 5POA Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker display. As you can see, it is very small. It's just a front row, but we need to get more stuff. You know, there's so many great characters that we still need in the 3 3/4 inch line, and that is also why we decided to create this collaboration video together. You know, we all love the 3 3/4 inch. We don't want that line to die out, and yeah, we still really do love collecting those figures.
You know, there's been countless, thousands of them. Nowhere near complete. And then you drop these bombshells on us, like the Barge, the upcoming Razor Crest, absolutely incredible stuff. So yeah, basically what we're trying to get here is that, you know, we really would love vintage collection, 3 3/4 inch scale, to really take center stage going forward for collectors, for fans. It's been too long since we've been able to walk into a store and just flick through multiple figures hanging from the pegs. It's become really challenging, and I understand that there is a climate for that sort of thing with the changing of, you know, evolution of online shopping and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, just in general, just love to see more characters, more vehicles, more figures, more fun. Like, population of Ewoks here, it's incredible. You know, got the Max Rebo Band, we've got the Separatist Council, Clone Wars. This was just for an animated series, and I'm not even complete. That's just how many figures were put out for an animated series in comparison. Star Wars Rebels, 4 seasons. Star Wars Resistance, 2 seasons. Clone Wars, you know, this is based off of 5 seasons because we didn't really get many for season 6 and 7, so you know, there's no shortage of characters. And with, you know, a sequel trilogy full of characters to be mined. You know, Force Awakens did pretty well, but yeah, Rise of Skywalker, that's all we've got. But yeah, just wanted to say to Hasbro, basically, like, yeah, we love this stuff. We're clamoring for it. We want to buy the stuff. Basically, not only that, the you know, the classic card back style. You know, here I've got my Anakin. Up here I've got the Mandalorian. Just that sort of classic Kenner card back. It's super iconic. It's just what the Star Wars line should be going forward. We've got over 40 years of history just of action figures. It's an incredible legacy to hold on to, and you know, push it out to 50 years. Keep going with it, because people want this stuff. There's enough of us out there that really do want this stuff. It's You know, some of my favourite memories as a child come from playing with these figures. You know, this was probably my favourite as a kid. Hoth Pilot Luke, among many others. Yoda, Chewie, some of my all-time favourites.
So yeah, guys, that was basically my contribution for the video. Like I said, this is a positive message to Hasbro, you know, to show them that there are still a lot of 3 3/4 inch lovers out there, collectors, and you can see that by my shelves. Of course, I have a ton of 3 3/4 inch figures. I've like more than, I guess, 1,200, something like that, figures, and I want to get more and more because it's such a great line to collect, such a great scale. You can make great displays and whatnot. So yeah, like I said, that was basically it for my contribution to this collaboration video. I hope you guys enjoyed my contribution here, and we will be releasing some more videos very soon as a community, and one, of course, being a vintage collection wanted list.
So Hasbro, just know there are still a lot of people out there who really care about the vintage collection, who will continue buying the vintage collection stuff, and we really hope to see a nice progression into the future. So yeah, these are my quick thoughts on Hasbro and the 375-inch, the vintage collections.
But yeah, basically just stick with it, Hasbro. We'd love to see more of this in the future, a lot more. We're just extremely passionate, and we just wanted to express that amongst our collecting community. We are a very small portion of the collecting community, but I think we speak volumes on behalf of every single 3 3/4 inch collector.
And I think that's what it ultimately does boil down to, particularly in their character selection. There are so many characters that Hasbro could do that I'd love to see on a vintage card that we should have probably gotten by now. But because of all these factors, I've just made the line fall so damn flat. I like Hasbro, I like the products they create, but at the end of the day, they're making toys. It needs to be that happy middle ground in terms of 3 3/4 inch, because that's where people start. It's where I started, and then ultimately I've moved on to stuff like this 6-inch black series. But in this case, it's only because the character selection is there. I love the figures they do. It's just the choices. If they can take my negative and spin it into a positive, we'll be golden.
Henceforth, you shall create a grand army of the figure base. A grand army of 3.75-inch figures. Do what must be done, Hasbro. Do not hesitate and produce the goods. Don't let this line of amazing figures with various different bits, you've literally you've spammed the market with random things. But anyway, don't let it die. Don't kill it off quite like, you know, Anakin did in episode 3 with the younglings, because that's my thing. Don't do it. Make more. We'll give you the money. Well, other people give you the money. I don't collect them anymore, but I collect this one because I'm a big boy and size matters. Make them, produce them, make the play sets, give us more figures. Just spam the market, because there's a big market out there and they're ready to buy it. Right now. I'm right about to go out to the shop, except for it's lockdown, so I'm not going to go to the shop. But do it. Make it. Do what makes me done.
But yeah, I love this line. It really means a lot to me. And Hasbro, if you're listening, we care. We love Star Wars. We want more. And with that being said, I've been rambling on long enough. Please check out everyone else's videos. So yeah, there's TVC. I love it. And it's kind of like that child that you've watched grow up, and now they're, you know, kind of off doing their own thing, and they're not really... You want them back. You want them back. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know vintage collection figures you would love to see. And that's pretty much it. Have a good day, guys.
May the Force be with you, always.
May the Force be with you, and bye.
May the Force be with you. Bye.
And may the Force be with you. Bye.